We're going to use the same media query that we've just created, the one that we changed the size of the text in our H1 heading. We're going to do some other layout changes using that same 830 pixel breakpoint. This is the finished version example of the website. Notice the spacing at the top between the top and the logo, and notice the spacing between the navigation as we widen our viewport. Notice that once we hit our media query breakpoint of 830 pixels, the navigation spreads out and there's more padding between the top of our logo and the top of the browser. This just makes it look a little bit nicer. We're going to add some top and bottom padding to our header, and then we're going to add some right margin to the right of each one of our list items that our navigation is built into. So let's look at our navigation. You can see that our home, workshop, store, and community all are built inside an LI, which is a list item. And we're going to add 30 pixels of margin to the right of each one to spread out this navigation. So let's first add the padding to our header so our logo is a little bit lower from the top of the browser in the wide viewport. So let's find our media query. Here's our media query, and note, here's where it starts, here's the brace for it opening, here's the closing brace. Here are the two braces for our H1. So we're going to punch in right after the closing brace of our H1 rule, but before we get to the closing brace of the media query, because all of our CSS rules need to be written inside of the curly braces for the media query for them to be affected by the viewport width of 830. So let's use a tag selector for the header area because that's where our logo is. Put your curly braces in there, and we're going to say padding 20px, and that's going to be for both top and bottom because we're only putting two numbers in. And then we're going to put 10px for the right and left padding. Alright, let's save that and check the version we're working on. Let's bounce over to our version, not the finished version. Notice it's still, no matter how wide we pull it, it's still a single column layout. And let's refresh it. So you notice as we go wider, we get more padding between the top of the browser and our logo because we added the header padding to the media query. Now let's add the right margin to the right of each one of these to spread our navigation links out to look better in a wide viewport. So we'll come down here after the header. We're still inside the media query rule. And we're going to say inside our navigation, use each list item as our tag selectors. Then we're going to come down here, we're going to go margin dash right 30px. And this is going to add 30 pixels to the right of each list item in this navigation. If I'll save that, I'm going to put this closer. I'm going to update that. But watch what happens when we widen our viewport. Our navigation spreads out nicer now. Then it skinnies up so it fits into a mobile viewport when the viewer is narrow.